The book hypothesizes that could it be that our weaknesses, personal tragedies, and negative circumstances of our birth, could that actually be the catalyst in which we can overcome that through resilience, and by doing so, we become extraordinary people? And so that leads into my second point, which is that there are advantages to being disadvantaged. I will give you an example in the book. So there was a man named Emil J. Freireich, and he was the son of Hungarian immigrants in 1927. So think about the Great Depression time after World War I. His father died when he was a very young boy. His mother was very poor, and they were living in the very poor parts of Chicago. He ended up going to college in Chicago. And he went through medical school, and then he was in the hospital where he focused on child leukemia patients. And at that time, child leukemia patients were pretty much considered to be fatal, and there was no cure. So the medical community at that time was pretty much resigned in their efforts to try to cure leukemia in children. And so most children would die within 8 weeks of the diagnosis due to uncontrolled bleeding. So there were two major discoveries that Freireich did that completely changed the medical community. First is that he introduced the idea of separating platelets from blood and using that for blood transfusions. And why this was so revolutionary is that it helped stop the uncontrolled bleeding, which extended the lives of the children. And prior to that, no one had considered the idea of separating the platelets in blood, and they didn't really understand what the association was to that of leukemia. And so that was the first thing. The second thing is that he introduced the idea of combination chemotherapy. So at the time, they would give one or two chemotherapy drugs, which are incredibly toxic if you're not a cancer patient, right? So it comes in and it kills all of the cells. And you would think that one or two is sufficient, right? And clearly it's not curing the cancer, but it's at least stopping the growth a little bit. What Freireich did is that he said that this is not enough because clearly these patients are dying so quickly. And so he started testing 3, 4, multiple chemotherapy drugs at the same time.